Hello, Mr. President. I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to hear what I have to say about our nation's current problem with factory farms. Before I leap into animal abuse, torture, and rights, I think it's important to have a grasp on just how large of a percentage factory farms hold in the sales of meat products in the U.S. Currently, only 4 factory farms hold a mind-blowing 75% of meat sales. These huge monopoly-like companies are Tyson, Cargill, JBS USA, and the National Beef Packing Company. 24% of meat sales are from the thousands of other smaller factory farms. If you did your math correctly, you will see that factory farms currently hold a whopping 99% of meat sales in our country. This means that traditional family farms hold only 1% of meat sales. Factory farms may seem as if they have their business aspect covered, but there's a reason these particular farms are selling so much meat at such a fast rate and cheap price. Studies show that Tyson, our country's largest factory farm company, slaughters 600,000 chickens, 30,000 cattle, and 48,000 pigs every day. Together, factory farms are slaughtering millions of animals for our food. Being that our country will never cease eating meat altogether, and that meat will always be high in demand, these companies must do what they can to get their meat on our dinner plates in the fastest and cheapest way possible. This is where animal neglect and abuse comes in on these factory farms. Because factory farms are companies, they have one main goal in mind: making money. Therefore, factory farms house thousands of animals in tight spaces in order to save money on land, building, and stalls. Cows are kept in stalls just large enough to sit or stand, often in their own feces. They cannot turn their bodies or lie on their sides like family farm cattle love to do. Instead, they are kept in tight stalls like these the majority of their lives. Chickens are kept in pens, often in groups of 4. These pens are often so small that the chicken cannot stretch its wings properly. These animals become so distressed that they will often have the tendency to peck themselves and each other to death. Being that pigs are the 4th smartest animals on Earth behind primates, dolphins, and elephants, pigs on factory farms in these tiny pens suffer greatly. These extreme social and intelligent animals lose their minds by being denied any social or psychological stimulation at all. Because of this, some pigs become too unhealthy to be used for and must be put down. Adult pigs are often hung to death by a crane on some factory farms. This picture is a screenshot from the undercover video recording of the Wiles Farm in Ohio. Because so many hogs are farmed on factories, increasing the chances of sickly hogs, this method of killing unfit hogs is very common on factory farms. The practice known as thumping is used for putting down unprofitable piglets. The worker will hold the piglet by its hind legs, swing it in a circle, and end with the piglet's head being smashed on the ground. If the process fails, the worker usually finishes the piglet off with a hammer to the head or lets the piglet suffer until it dies. This process takes place in order to save money on these factory farms. It is completely free to do. Other means of putting an animal down, such as shooting it or injecting it, can be costly, most factory farm owners say. These owners do not only seek out financial savings on land and putting animals down, they also find ways to save money on animal feed. It is a common practice to feed chickens just up to a point above starvation in order to save money on their food. To make up for the small size of the animal, chickens are injected with large amounts of hormones. This is done so more product can be sold from the factories, bringing in more profit. In this picture, to the left is a factory farm chicken injected with hormones. The chicken on the right is an organic chicken raised on a traditional family farm. Starving chickens and injecting them with hormones can put a toll on their health and well-being. They become full-grown within 70 days of their life, whereas natural chickens are not full-grown until 4 months. Doubling the speed of growth increases time efficiency and helps the factories produce more chickens at a higher speed. However, doubling the growth speed is very dangerous to the chicken because their bones and internal organs cannot keep up with the rapid growth. Many times the chicken winds up unable to walk or stand as their legs cannot support their weight. Most will just lie on the ground. These hormones injected in chickens are not only a problem for the animal, but also for the consumers. The hormones have been linked to diseases such as cancer, heart disease, early puberty, and in some cases, acne. Hormones can be found mainly in chicken and dairy milk. Aside from the fact that factory farms confine thousands of cows, pigs, and chickens into tightly packed facilities where they are forced to suffer inhumane treatment, factory farming has also given rise to countless modern-day diseases. When you take thousands of animals and stick them into a tiny space, depriving them of all their natural instincts, you create a breeding ground for disease, and when it starts to spread, it spreads like wildfire. Earlier, I mentioned cows being covered in their manure on factory farms, due to the tight spaces they are forced to sleep in. It is not time efficient to clean cows before taking them to the slaughterhouse, meaning cow and sometimes pig manure is very likely to transfer to the meat due to carelessness of the worker. A team from Consumer Reports recently investigated just how much cow manure was on packaged meat. The team tested 300 packages of ground beef bought from more than 100 big-name grocery stores in 26 cities nationwide. Their results? All 458 pounds of beef examined contained bacteria signifying fecal contamination. Humans consuming feces can lead to diseases such as E. coli and mad cow disease. There are currently no laws which prevent animal cruelty and abuse for farm animals, such as pigs, cows, and chickens. Farm animals are usually exempt from anti-cruelty laws. For example, when the Wiles farmers were taken to court with the video evidence of thumping, hanging, and mistreating their hogs, the owners were only charged with a $350 fine and a farmer safety class. Clearly, change is needed among the regulation and management of factory farms. Thankfully, there are numerous solutions that can be implemented to ensure farm animal safety and healthy food. We can implement strict animal cruelty and neglect laws, not only for pets, but also for farm animals. If you wouldn't want your puppy's head being smashed in on the ground, why is it okay to do so to a piglet? Limiting the number of animals slaughtered each day on a factory farm can solve the problem workers have with trying to maintain such a great number of animals in a short time period, and also reduce the need to inject chickens with hormones for rapid growth, while allowing the mother pigs to begin breeding at a normal speed, which is healthier for them. State or federal inspections of factory farms need to take place biannually at random times to ensure cleanliness on the farms and to ensure the animals are well taken care of. The public also needs to be aware of the growth hormones and fecal matter that gets on their meat. It is the meat consumer's right to know what they are eating, and it needs to become publicly announced. Traditional and organic family farms need to be promoted as factory farms pose a threat to family farms. Therefore, clean family farms should be funded and given better incentives. If some or all of these changes are implemented, I believe factory farms can be safer and friendlier environments for their animals. Human health is also likely to increase. Together, we can change factory farms for the better and protect millions of lives from harm and abuse. We can go from this to this. Thank you.